All right, Final X is officially set. World Team Trials Challenge Tournament in the books as the regional rolls on behind us. Kozak, amazing set of finals. Let's start at 57 kilograms. Spencer Lee, Anthony Knox.
Yeah, Spencer Lee, we said it was going to be closer, and Spencer Lee gets the tech 12-2, and looked like Spencer Lee of old. Looked 100%. Anthony Knox, definitely different tactics. Changed it up a little bit. Ended up getting a takedown. But ultimately, it was all Spencer Lee.
I thought it was a strong performance from both guys, honestly. There was a long break with a replay issue, but Spencer comes out right-handed, single leg, fast. I mean, when that happens right in front of you, it's like you get appreciation for the speed of these guys. Quick shot, transition to the lace, gets another turn. Wrestled really well out. He gave up a takedown, but then a key exchange here. He gives up the 2. Wrestles in, gets counter 2, and then gets on top with a trap arm. This really blew the match open for Spencer Lee. Got a series of turns, and then ultimately was able to finish it off with a tech fall. So that sets up Luke Liljedahl, Spencer Lee, Final X. It was a crazy US Open match. This was the Final X matchup last year. It seemed likely coming into this season, it was going to be those 2 in Final X. Didn't get there the way maybe we thought, but as it stands, 57, Lee versus Liljedahl.
Yeah, and these are going to be number 1 and number 2 ranked wrestlers in the world. That's how good we are at 57, and how chaotic the rest of the world has been. So that's just a little preview, a little taste.
Where's Japan?
Japan's nowhere to be found. Yeah.
Okay, we'll
right
keep
now.
looking. All right, 61 kilograms. The talk of Louisville, Jax Forrest versus Ben DeVino. This weight was the talk of Louisville. And Jax Forrest locked in a tech fall over Ben DeVino, Kozak.
Yeah, and it was a different match kind of from the start. Jax gets the early takedown, the turn, takes the 4-0 lead, and DeVino had a hard time getting to his legs, and it just looked like Jax was kind of a step ahead every step of the way. And what did Jax tell you? He's a down block guy?
Yeah, I talked to him after the match. He said, I'm a down block guy now. I'm a head hands guy. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, feels like Jax has like these sprints, but I think he'll always have that element of chaos, and that is something that helps Jax. But when he jumped out to the 4-0 lead after the takedown to the lace, you knew it was going to be a tough road back for Ben DeVino. Ben, who's had an amazing year, but Jax Forrest, Marcus Blaze, now the matchup at Final X. We were talking about this one throughout the NCAA season once it was clear Jax was going. Didn't get it. We're getting it in Newark, June 19th.
Yeah, I can't wait. We haven't seen them wrestle in a couple years. They wrestle Olympic Trials 2024, and that was Marcus Blaze. So, I mean, since then, been, Jax Forrest has kind of been the talk, but we've seen Marcus Blaze. He's a different guy in freestyle. This is going to be a really fun match. I am so excited to see it. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it's going to be awesome.
I think this Final X matchup is as close to a 50-50 we maybe have.
For sure.
It's going to be tough to call. Cannot wait for that one. We'll mention 65, even though that wasn't contested here. It's going to be Bo Bassett versus Real Woods. Excited for that one, obviously. Anytime Bo Bassett's on the mat, there's a lot of people watching, and Real Woods look good at Pan Ams.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a great series for sure at 65.
70 kilograms. Zane Rutherford's back. 2 wins. He beats Landon Robidoux and Caleb Henson. Pretty close match against Caleb Henson. Zane, it's kind of uncharacteristic to see him not score a lot of takedowns. He scored 1 takedown in 2 matches.
Yeah, he's got to find his offense. I think that's the biggest thing. A guy like Ridge Lovett, who can put up points in a lot of different ways. Zane Rutherford looks good. Looks like, he can make a world team, can challenge the best guys at 70 kilograms, but that's the biggest thing. Where's the offense at?
And the way this match materialized, I could have seen Zane going on the clock instead of Caleb. It felt like at the end, Caleb was not just taking all the shots, which that's indisputable, but it felt like he was controlling center pretty well there. But the only offensive point of the match was scored by Zane Rutherford, so he ends up winning 2-1. It was really close, and I thought this would be a close competitive match, but I don't think we would leave this without seeing a takedown from either guy. That did surprise me.
Yeah, and you wonder in the back of Zane's mind, he shoots in yesterday against Robidoux and gets countered, gets tipped, and Caleb Henson could not break through.
Never close.
Zane's defense.
He never got his hands locked on the leg.
Well, and as soon as he'd go under, boom, Zayn would, lock up that front headlock, and Henson couldn't go anywhere. And so, Zayn wasn't really threatened, so maybe he's thinking, hey, don't really take a risk if you don't have to, right?
Yeah. So the matchup is going to be Zayn Rutherford, Ridge Lovett.
Yeah.
Lovett brings a different element
For sure.
than Caleb Henson. It's, they're pretty close, evenly matched. You saw that at the U.S. Open. But, man, it's a different challenge for Zayn Rutherford at Final X.
For sure. Yep, it'll be great to see him there. And you feel like another competition will be good for him. Would love to see him, continue to compete throughout the summer, but I guess it's probably going to depend on whether or not he makes the team. So.
Yeah, certainly will. Move up to 74 kilograms. This is maybe the other most discussed matchup. Yeah. The most discussed guy, Jaden James, falls short against David Carr, who put together a really good match. Almost fell apart at the end, though.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, he's up 9-1. And you're like, I'm on the call talking like, okay, this is the David Carr we've been waiting for.
The second you said that is when it unraveled. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and then Jaden James gets a takedown. He's on top, and Carr's defending, but just like crawling out of bounds. Clear caution to one. And like, okay, it's 9-4. It gets back on top, crawls out of bounds again. Another caution to one. It's 9-5, and then James gets rear standing, takes him back. And it was so close to a 4. I think they got it right.
Yeah, I do
going back
too.
and watching it, but Jaden James was this close to completing just a crazy comeback.
Kid is 17 years old, just pushed David Carr. Certainly not going to be the last we hear of Jaden James, but David Carr, James Green, the Final X matchup. Crazy match. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I hope we continue to see better versions of David Carr. These 3 matches, he got out by the skin of his teeth. Right?
Both of them.
I mean, between Jake Hughes,
last second
Evan
takedown.
Wick, and Jaden James, it's like, oh my gosh, all of them. He could have lost every single one of them. So maybe not what you want to see from Carr, but kind of lives to die another day.
He got his hand raised. 86 kilograms wasn't contested here. Zahid Valencia versus Kyle Dake. Nothing else to say there. Ton of excitement. Mike Mock versus Trent Hidley at 92.
Yeah, skip 79.
Oh, yeah, what's wrong with me? 79. Chance Marsteller versus Levi Haynes.
It's going to be fun, yeah.
That's a great one. 86. Already said that one's Zahid Valencia versus Kyle Dake. 92. Mike Mock versus Trent Hidley, the world champion. And then heavyweight.
Oh, my.
What a way to finish a crazy tournament with probably I think we could say the craziest match at all.
Yeah,
we had big points. We had a strangulation, consciousness regained, and then when you get back into it, crazy shootout between Mason Paris and Isaac Trumbull.
Yeah, people are going to be talking about this for a long time. There's lots of controversy. Should it have been stopped? Shouldn't have been. It ultimately, they took away the pin and took away points as well. So from there, it's 2-2. There's still over 5 minutes left in this match. And then, just madness. Mason holds on 14-12. It's crazy.
And with like a minute and a half to go, Mason Paris' coach Kevin Jackson goes, Mason, no more shots. Do not shoot. Because Trumbull's really tricky in the counters.
He didn't shoot anymore.
And he stopped shooting. He won the match. But it seemed like it was all but over. And then Trumbull got his way back into the match, made it really interesting at the end. But if you haven't seen the situation, shot Mason, front, kind of like a head pinch situation.
Yeah.
Mason circling into it, which I think that caused the lights to go out. He goes unconscious. There's a pin called. You think Trumbull wins. They look at it. They say, okay. And I got an explanation from the replay judge. He said, what happens is when it was a legal hold, when the guy goes out, it gets stopped. It's an offensive attention, and the points get wiped after that once the guy goes unconscious. So that's a strangulation call, and that's why there was no pin. If he, stays conscious and gets the pin, Isaac Trumbull is headed to Final X against Wyatt Hendrickson.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we've seen guys go out before and then kind of take it back. 2016, Roman Vlasov. He went out in the Olympic gold medal match and then came back and won. So It's not like unprecedented, but certainly crazy. Not something you see every day by any means.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take us through the women's freestyle matches. Had 7 great matches there. Morgan Turner
is down late, needs a last-second takedown, and she gets it. a super competitive match.
Great match.
Felicity Taylor goes out to a big lead, and then Morgan Turner storms back, gets the win, and she's just first year, right? First year U20, 17, 18 years old. She was U17 last year. So, yeah, the youth movement on the women's side of things too. And so we're going to see Morgan Turner take on Katie Gomez at Final X 50 kilograms.
Morgan came a long way from getting 6th at the U.S. Open. Oh, yeah.
Little mic check.
Look at
here.
this. What happened?
I don't know.
What happened there?
I
He just got the clip. Just clip it. He just tossed it out. But we got the Sweet Prince. He's got our back. I did notice that, but I was like, I don't know, we'll let it ride. Okay. So Morgan Turner, Katie Gomez. Now take us to 53.
Yeah, 53, we're looking at Elena Evaldi taking on Sydney Petzinger. That was a crazy match. 35
match.
points. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, oh, dang, how did I forget that match? It was like Evaldi was going to put her away. And then every time you think, okay, she's putting her away, Petzinger comes back and like makes it a match. And then finally, I think it was the final score 23-12. Just a nuts match. But Elena Evaldi, she is moving on to Final X. She is going to take on Cristel Rodriguez, world team member from last year, who beat Sarah Hildebrandt in the finals. I feel like Cristel, the favorite there, but you see the offensive capabilities from Evaldi for sure.
Yeah, if you can score 23 points against someone quality like that, you're going to be in every match. Then 55, this was another weird match.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so crazy.
It's kind of traumatic.
Yeah, Ariana Viascusa gets that 2-on-1, takes it down to the mat. As she does, Alex Hedrick's shoulder comes out. Completely out. She's on the mat, on her back. They're trying to put her shoulder back in, and she's just
not successful.
Yelling in pain. They take her up, they take her out. We're like, okay, the match is over. As she's walking out, she says, I'm not forfeiting. All right, so they go to the table over here. They get the shoulder back in. I think it was a 17-minute break. And she comes back, wrestles the final, I don't know, however many minutes.
There was a lot left.
Viascusa, you could tell she couldn't really do much. Viascusa wins, I think it's 6-0. Viascusa moving on, taking on Everest Leidecker.
Okay, rematch from the U.S. Open. 59 kilograms, what's that? What happened there?
Yeah, 59 kilograms. Amani Jones, Alexis Janiak. Amani Jones, she was getting to her attacks.
Couldn't finish.
Just couldn't finish, kind of coming up around the body, around the waist, rather than staying low and finishing. So, Alexis Janiak moving to Final X. She's going to take on Abby Nettie. Abby Nettie won that match at the U.S. Open. It was 10-0. So Nettie, past world team member, she's going to be a favorite there for sure.
And 62 kilograms, Macy Kilty wasting no time in her final.
Yeah, leaves no doubt, gets a pin. She's moving on, taking on Adugu Nwachukwu. And that's going to be one of the better ones at Final X. That was in the balance, U.S. Open. I feel like either of those ladies can go on to the Worlds and challenge for a medal for sure.
And next weight class after
65.
that? 65.
Yeah, Jen Page and Emma Bruntill. Just a battle, right? I think you said it. It's like, you're ready for hand fighting.
Yeah.
And it was, but the difference was Jen Page, the headlock on the edge. So Jen Page going to face Kayla Miracle at Final X, 65 kilograms. Those two, they had a crazy 3-match series. In 2022, it went all 3. So Jen Page, world medalist, she can absolutely challenge Kayla Miracle.
And the biggest story of the World Team Trials, 72 kilograms. The return of Amit Allure 3.5 months after giving birth to a baby.
Yeah, it's so wild.
Dominates through the World Team Trials Challenge Tournament, beats a very good Precious Weezer, who's a mother in her own right as well. What can you say about the job and how good Amit Allure looks back at 72 kilograms?
She looked really, really good. And you hand it to Precious Weezer because she went out trying to win. She was trying to score points. She tried to go big. She almost got a throw at one point.
Yes, she did. Body
in the
lock.
second period. And that's like maybe the only way you can beat Amit Allure. So hats off to Precious. But you got to imagine Amit Allure only going to get better the further that she's like removed from giving birth, 3.5 months. So it's like she's probably not to her peak just yet. And so that's great news for Team USA.
So that's going to do it. Amazing World Team Trials. Had a blast here in Louisville. We're flying home tonight. We'll be back Monday morning for FRL. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.